The disturbances we saw across the country last weekend, following the appalling death of George Floyd in the United States, raises a much broader question of equality. The Christian faith clearly teaches that every individual is unique and special because people were created in the image of God. Therefore, every single person on earth in some way reflects something about the image of God. As a result, we profess that every person has a right to be respected, should be valued, and has something about them that they can be rightly proud of. Actually, self-esteem is important. But what we see from our passage from Mark chapter 9 this morning is that too much self-esteem is often a problem that mars this fundamental Christian teaching. Just imagine for a moment what it would have been like to have been one of Jesus' 12 disciples, one of those he'd chosen specifically to be with him. They were privileged. They had the privilege of sitting and listening when he taught. They enjoyed the opportunities to ask him questions. They had a front seat view when he performed those miracles. We can see that they would have felt immensely special, and they were. But this passage suggests that at times that fact seems to have gone to their heads. Behind Jesus' back, they'd been arguing about which one of them was the greatest. They weren't content to be in the privileged view. They wanted to be right at the top of the pyramid. And it's in that context that we're told that Jesus sat down and called the 12 of them to him. In that culture, people sat down to teach. Nowadays, of course, people stand up to teach. Not then. The fact that Jesus sat implies a key lesson was coming up. And in that context, Jesus took a child and said, "Whoever welcomes one of these welcomes me." Again, the significance of that is lost in our generation. Fortunately, in our society, we look at a child and we see the potential. We value and protect children. We invest in them and in their future. Not in those days. In Jesus' day, there was immense infant mortality. Children weren't expected to live long, and unbelievably to us, they were therefore not given any value, any status, until they reached an age where people would look and think, yeah, maybe, just maybe, this child's going to survive. And by taking a little child and saying that what's really important is to welcome one of these, Jesus turned the whole concept of greatness on his head. He was saying to his close disciples, the one of you who will be most highly regarded is the one who invests time, energy, money in the lives of these whose society has written off. The key point Jesus was making is discipleship is not about us. Discipleship is about what we do for others. And then our passage continues.
Our reading to the disciples completely forgot that Jesus is the big deal. When I read it, the first thing that popped out of my head is that you're not the big deal, Jesus is the big deal. And I'll explain. They saw people casting out demons in Jesus' name and they were not happy. Why? In the same chapter 9, verse 17 and 18, they tried to cast out a demon. It didn't work out for them. So them now seeing these people casting out demons in Jesus' name and is working, they were not happy. They were jealous, they were envious. They're like, how dare you? Stop. Cannot be using Jesus' name to perform all this miracle because you don't know Jesus like we know Jesus. That's their thinking. So Jesus had to sit them down and explain to them and teach them one or two things. And one of the things that Jesus was teaching them, is the fact that if they're for us, then they're not against us. These people casting out demons in my name would not next minute saying something bad about me. But for the disciples, they've been with Jesus all this while. They have all these privileges, but they don't even realize it. But they're still concerned about these ones that they're coming to know Jesus. And they're getting jealous, envious about these ones on fire for Jesus, using Jesus' name to do all these amazing things. And the whole focus of this reading is that we are all to celebrate one another. Book of Romans chapter 12:15 says, rejoice with those who are rejoicing. We are to celebrate one another. When we see them flourishing, doing good in any areas of their life, be it their studies, work-wise, they get promotion, even in the ministry for Jesus, we are to celebrate one another. Not be envious or try to shut them down or try to bring them down. No, we are to celebrate one another, elevate each other up. And this is so important for us, and not to compare ourselves to somebody else, that okay, they're doing that, oh, why can't I do that? No, you are not that person. And the disciples didn't realize how privileged they are. And how would people know us if we don't show this love? We'll be known to people that we are Jesus' disciples if we show love.
Our passage ends with Jesus giving the starkest of warnings about anyone who causes one of these little ones to sin. These little ones, they could have been a child, or they could be those who are less privileged than we are, or there could be those who are doing our work but are not part of our group. What we see very clearly is that being a disciple is not about us, our privilege, how great we are. It's a call to invest our lives in the lives of others.
Change my heart, oh God, make it ever true. Change my heart, oh God, may I be like you. Change my heart, oh God, my heart, oh God, may I be like you. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me. This is what I pray. Change my heart, oh God, make it ever true. Change my heart, oh God, may I be like you.
We'll be discussing this passage further in our Zoom meetings, which are taking place throughout the week. I do hope you're able to join us for one of those. Details of how to do so are on the website.